Morning. Well, my vlog from the other day seems to have gone nuts. I don't know what I said that seems to have resonated with people. Maybe it's the wake to fuck up is what's happened, but we all do, as to what's coming and what has to be prevented and stuff like that, you know. We're looking at ways forward as to what to do to protest going back to these people, but things like probably not paying your property tax, not getting it revalued and stuff like that, and just telling them all to just get fucking stuffed would be probably one of the best things to happen at the moment. But I saw a post this morning, and it's to do with the Huntington stabbings in England, right? And this is to do with everywhere, right? Because I'm going to come back on this. And what they're doing in the media and the likes of the government and that is they're blaming the people for getting stabbed, right? It's their fault. It's not the immigrant and stuff like that. And somebody's turned around and said on this post, why is it that people are all blaming immigrants and stuff like that, right? Well, prior to all these immigrants coming in, and we've got our own scum in all these different countries, there's no denying that, we've got our own fucking wankers. Basically, what I want to ask is, the very people that are shouting out saying, why are we calling out immigrants? We called out the indigenous people in this country, and the very government that's saying we shouldn't be racist and saying and calling out these immigrants are the very same people who left these indigenous people in our countries, north and south of Ireland, Scotland, England, Wales and abroad, with 50 previous offences, 70 previous offences, 120 previous offences. They never fucking sorted it out. So we had people on the street who should have been locked up. From day one, there should have been a proper sentence, but because we have woke, limp, left, liberal people like Catherine Connolly bringing people into the Dáil who have fucking crime offences against them, holding guns and all that, and saying the other day, if somebody committed rape, would you have them in your government or have them in your, let's say, working for you? She said, I'll have to think about it. So the very people now are saying you can't be saying this about immigrants, but the very people stopping any of these people going and getting proper custodial sentences. That's the problem. And we then are the problem because we've called this out. We've called this out for years. And the reason it's never stopped, it's a gravy train. From what I understand, to get one offence, you have to be in court 3 or 4 times. Now, somebody can come on judicially and say, John, you're wrong, right? Prove me wrong. But here's where I'm coming from. That is a gravy train. That is an absolute fucking gravy train. Everything that these people do is a gravy train. Divorce is a gravy train. You look at the children's courts and looking after your kids and stuff like that, and Tusla and all these other places in America, it's all deliberately done to separate you from the family, right? So they could take a 2-year-old kid, they could take it into care, and in the state, let's say the state of California, or the state of Wisconsin, or the state of Idaho, or whatever, will get 50,000 from the Federal Reserve for that. That means the judge that passes that judgment gets a bigger pension when he retires or she retires. So you look at everything you look at, it's all joined up. It's all to screw the man and woman, the ordinary man and woman in the street over. It's very, very hard to fix. And the majority of these are, if it's about looking after the kids, well then you look after the kids with their family. If there's a situation that's really intolerable or dangerous, then you'd remove them. But when there isn't, they're still doing it because it's a gravy train. It's a money. Everything you look at, votes, you look at the judiciary in terms of going on with this, with the crimes and stuff like that. So anybody shouting from the left to me, why aren't you shouting about those? We have. You just didn't fucking listen because you were saying they should have been left off. That's the problem I have. I'm sick and tired of these woke, liberal, fucking dickless, ballless, gutless, spineless bastards being able to talk and say what they want. And we then speak out, oh, we're this, we're that, we're left, we're right, we're up, we're down. It's a fucking joke. And it's about time now people just started saying, enough is enough. What we need to be doing is we need to target certain NGOs that they go out of business, a certain newspaper, they go out of business, a certain bill that comes in from the government. We are taxed beyond the fucking, we've got road tax, we've got tolls on the road, we've got property tax, we got to pay a fucking inheritance tax. Everything is tax, carbon tax. The next 5 years, we're going to have carbon tax coming out our fucking ears. Out our ears. And you're going to have businesses go bust, bust, bust. And then they're going to say, oh, you need to be getting this job, that. There's no jobs now that's permanent. None. Virtually none. What they want is you enslaved. It's as simple as that. And anybody thinks I'm just daft, that's fine. Delete me, unfriend me, get rid of me. But I am sick and tired of the woke left. It has destroyed everything. It has destroyed. It's gone in everywhere. And it's, oh, let that off, let this off. And then when we want to fucking clamp down on something, we're the end of the problem. And we're looking at what's happening in the Huntingdon. We're looking at those 3 girls stabbed in Dublin. We're looking at the men beheaded in fucking Sligo. We're looking at Lee Rigby, who was down where is that place? Woolwich Arsenal, and he going to his place getting beheaded. We could go on all day. This doesn't matter if you're Irish, you're British, you're Dutch. I look at the Dutch election the other day. What a fucking disaster. If anything was rigged, that was rigged. Because most of the people wanted to get out of that woke left. You look in Romania, they've twice voted for a guy. Didn't like the election, kept going. It's like the referendums we got here. When they didn't like it, they reran it 2 or 3 years later until they got what they wanted. Now, you'd look at some of those, are they working? No, they're not. It's like the Good Friday Agreement for me. The Good Friday Agreement is done. It's over, right? And I'll explain why. I explained the other day and all about the parties and what you call it, the Fine Gaels, the UUP, the fucking Labour, and all of them. I've no time for any of them. But here's where the Good Friday Agreement is. It pisses me off, right? There's people in Northern Ireland have dual citizenship. Right, anything that happens down there can kind of affect them up there, especially with the free movement of immigrants and so on, right? They have no say in the election process down here, right? They have no say. So you have people that are Catholic, Protestant, if they wanted to vote, have no say what's happening on the island of Ireland, right? You look at it the other way, we've no say down here if Michelle O'Neill and the DUP and whatever, or the Greens, and that want to make a decision in Northern Ireland that affects down here. There's nothing said on that. We've no say. So then you're telling me we have a democracy. That's a fucking illusion. That doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't happen anymore, right? So basically, you have the Good Friday Agreement that's now not fit for purpose. It doesn't work. So, because basically the people in the north should have a say. We have a problem in athletics. You have 60 federations in Ireland for all the island of Ireland. And we've tried to go through on the sport behind the scenes. I won't bore you with it too long because I'm talking politically here. But we've tried to get it recognised as the island of Ireland. Athletics Ireland, Athletics Northern Ireland and British Athletics won't let it happen, right? When there's 60 other federations, all Ireland. Now that doesn't affect anybody if they want to compete for Britain or want to go forward on that. Nothing happens in that, right? It's just, you go for Britain, that's your problem. It seems well done. And most of my mates that I know are British because I lived in Britain for so long. And athletically, I know them so long. What's going on now is an absolute joke. When they're calling out that the people on the train in Huntingdon were the problem for allowing themselves to be stabbed. And you know where this is heading? This is all heading for digital ID. We'll be the problem. We'll be the problem. We need to have our digital ID. If we move left, right, they'll know what we're doing. Guys, you got to start resisting. You got to start standing up and calling it out because this is coming. You think this is not going to come in here and they won't take? They're on about the hate speech bill. Stop the lights. There's a lot of people going to be very sorry for what they wrote. I'm not going to apologise for fucking one thing I wrote because I've always had the right intentions in my heart. Always the right intentions to do the right thing. These people, they need to fucking go. They need to go fast. And everybody's calling for that. But we need to start hurting them in the pocket. It's about hurting them in the pocket. You don't pay this, don't pay that. We start doing mobilisation and stuff. It'll have to happen. And trust me, the amount of people that's come in here, it's military-aged men. And you know what happens when you go to war? You leave your women and children home. Because everybody's asking, where's the women and children? No women and children. Trust me in this. And there was a woman the other day, I think it's Eva Vlaardin Gindenbroek. She's Dutch. She's a great speaker. Try and look her up. Fantastic orator. Brilliant what she's saying. She says Holland is done. Because the other day, the PPV, the centre-right, were winning that election. And all of a sudden, they've lost it. And now it's the most woke government in charge ever. Fucking disgrace. The European Union, not fit for purpose anymore. It needs to be destroyed. And the euro needs to be kept. The money needs to be kept. The trade agreements need to be kept. The rest of them, the leaders, von der Leyen, all of them, they need to go. And our governments need to go. But we need to do it in terms of a way that hurts them financially. It's all about finance. Hurt them in the pocket and make them fucking pay. That's what you need to do. Sorry to have a rant on that, but I need to get offloading my chest. When I seen that we are the problem, why we should be getting stabbed. We are the ones causing us to ourselves to be stabbed. I just had enough. All the best, everybody. Have a good day and God bless.